Dome woes in the 80s. Dome teams are only 3-12 in outdoor playoff games. And to add to the problems for the Vikings, they are only 2-6 on the road in 1989. Rich Karlis, one of the bright acquisitions for Minnesota this year, will kick off. The deep men, Spencer Tillman, number 23, and Terrence Flagler, number 32, were underway. Taken by Flagler at the goal line. A lot of room. A lot of room. Joey Browner saved the touchdown. A 58-yard kickoff return to open the ball game.
Three things the 49ers worked on in the extra week they had off. Scoring, and then kickoff and punt returns, and it certainly paid off as Flagler found the seam. Excellent blocking, and now it's just Rich Karlis' job to slow him down. He doesn't, Browner does.
First down at the 41. Backs are split, Rice in motion. Three-step drop, up pattern, Jerry Rice. Let's check the 49er lineup with Montana at quarterback. NFL record this year, 112.4 quarterback rating. His offensive front, Bubba Paris, number 77, matched against Dolman today. McIntyre, Sapolu, Collie Barton, the tight end is Brent Jones. In the backfield, Craig Rathman, Rice and Taylor, Mike Wilson on passing downs. Hand off Craig. First down at the 30-yard line. Viking defense, Noga, Thomas, Millard, and Dolman, 71 sacks, leads the league this year. The linebackers, Deuce Bovick replaces an injured Mike Merriweather, Studwell and Rayberry, and in the secondary, Lee and Rutland. Lee's going to the Pro Bowl. Brad Edwards replaces Travis Curtis, McMillan and Fullington on all these passing downs. From the 30, first down. Gregg.
Cutback running. Notice Noga goes deep and wide to the outside. Craig takes the ball, going off left tackle, and then cuts back. The secret here for the 49ers, Vern, is they want to attack the bubble. The Vikings will take three down linemen and shift them right or left, and that will leave one linebacker by himself on the backside. That's the area that the 49ers want to attack with their running game.
Now from the 15-yard line, first down and 10, a double tight end set for the 49ers. John Taylor goes wide to the left side. Rice comes wide right with Carl Lee. Jones and Wesley Walls, the two tight ends, are tight to the right, and Rathman the only setback. Five-step drop this time. Montana in the flat. Rice to the 9-yard line. Tackle made by Raymond Berry. Minnesota with the #1 defense in the league, but look at inside the 20, Terry. They are 24th in points allowed this year.
Well, that's great defense from the goal line to the 20. I mean, once you get down there, that graphic illustrates the fact that they cannot keep people from scoring.
Second down and 4. Craig back in the lineup. Fumble. Vikings have it. Raymond Berry recovers Roger Craig's fumble.
Well, the one thing you don't want to have happen, you don't want to have great special teams put you in great position to go down and get the early score, and then to have a missed handoff. That's just a missed handoff with Craig and Montana. I can't tell whether or not Craig had the ball or whether the ball hit him on the elbow, but boy, this is a big, big lift for the Minnesota Vikings.
Raymond Berry with a turnover. Vikings ball, timeout. Minnesota Viking first down at their own 8-yard line following the Ray Berry fumble recovery. Wade Wilson, the quarterback, back split. Rick Penny starts in motion, number 31. Bobble on the snap there. Wilson will run. and is hauled down from behind out near the 18-yard line by Pete Kugler, who is starting at nose tackle. Wilson, an erratic year. He was out for a while with a broken finger. 9 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Joined in the backfield by, Zimmerman. McDaniel's going to the Pro Bowl. Loudermilk, Kalis, Tim Irwin, and the tight end, Steve Jordan. In the backfield, Herschel Walker and Rick Finney. Anthony Carter at one wideout. Hassan Jones at the other. Leo Lewis. Jim Gustafson come in on obvious passing downs.
About a foot short. Right off the bat, you saw the play action by the Vikings. Wilson, play action right, rolling to his left with a guard pulling to protect him. And one of the things that they want to get from Wilson today that normally don't, they want him to run with the football. The one dimension he adds to the Viking offense is his ability to run. And if he can get out and run, get outside and run with the football, then he can create a lot of problems, and a lot of adjustments have to be made by the 49ers to stop him from running.
The second down and short as you look at Bob Schnelker. Leo Lewis has joined the lineup. 2nd and 1 officially. That's Finney in motion again. Walker. First down at the 22-yard line. 49er defense, not a bad lot at all. They've had some injuries now. Pierce Holt has replaced Larry Roberts at the end spot. Pete Kugler starts today for Jim Burt, Michael Carter on injured reserve. Linebackers are Haley, Matt Millen, Michael Walter, and Keena Turner. And in the secondary, Darrell Pollard, Don Griffin, Ronnie Lott, and Chet Brooks. White and McTire on nickel and dime situations. 1st and 10, Minnesota, no score. And Herschel Walker, the deep back in the eye, which is his formation. Gets the toss and comes left. And boy, you can hear the pop at the 25-yard line as Don Griffin collided with Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker is doing his best running, Vern, when he's running between the tackles. When he takes the ball deep in the eye and is able to move right on the right tackle or the left tackle. But the defense wins when they can force Walker not to go off tackle, but to change his direction. And then notice how he had to go outside. When he goes outside, he is not a good runner. Going to the outside allows the defenses to get up, and he loses his power.
2nd down, 7 from the 25. Opening moments of the game, 49ers fumbled at the 8. And Wilson with a deep drop of 7 yards into the flat, caught by Anthony Carter. Out to the 39-yard line. Anthony Carter said yesterday, they've got to get me involved early.
Carter will go down. One of the things that he says that I have to do today. Notice how tight Pollard is up on Carter. Wants to get his hands on him. Can't do that, so now he just mirrors him, runs side by side. Carter comes up, plants, sees Wilson, feels the pressure of Pollard, and then goes away from Pollard.
That's a gain of 14. It was 2 years ago here that Anthony Carter caught 10 balls for 227 yards as the Vikings routed the 49ers. Last year in the playoff game here, he was held to 3 catches for 45. 1st and 10, flag down. Tom Dooley is our referee today.
Ball start. 76 offense. First down.
Tim Irwin, false start.
That'll cost the Vikings 5 as Tim Irwin is called for the infraction. Offensive penalties for the Vikings so far this year. Look at the false starts. That's the 4th on Irwin, actually the 5th as we update it. Loudermilk in the center, and not unexpected for a holding call to come from the center. Split-backs after the 5-yard penalty. 4-man rush by the 49ers. Wilson across the middle to his tight end, Steve Jordan. Final score in the AFC Divisional playoff game, and it was a dandy. Cleveland defeats Buffalo 34-30. And welcome to those of you who've been watching that game. Vern Lundquist, Terry Bradshaw here at Candlestick Park. We have no score. 58-yard kickoff return to open the game by Terrence Flagler, and the 49ers were driving, but Roger Craig fumbled at the 8. Ray Berry recovered, and Minnesota has moved out now to its own 38-yard line. Double tight end set for Minnesota. Fake the draw. Wilson with time. Nice pass. Beautiful pass to Jordan at the 49er 44-yard line. That is a gain of 19 and a first down.
The real secret to throwing to a tight end is you must have someone out in the flat to pull up the linebackers. Counteraction kind of freezes the linebackers. Now, when Wilson is out wide, now Jordan will come in behind the linebackers. They come up, Turner comes up to cover the back. That opened up a huge hole behind him to allow Wilson to get the ball to Jordan.
Steve Jordan again in the Pro Bowl this year, bothered with an injury at the start of the year. He and Carter were both hurt for much of the season. Now Novoselsky is in and goes way wide to the right. Impressive Minnesota drive. Heard Terry say at the top of the show they needed this. Here's Walker on the fake. Turns the corner and is banged out of bounds by Chet Brooks. The 11th round draft choice in his second year, who has replaced Jeff Fuller at strong safety.
One of the ways that one of the major differences, Vern, in Wilson's attacking style and Montana's, who watches as the game goes, is that Wilson will go ahead and push his offense down the field. He will throw the ball 15, 20 yards and deep post and corners. Montana throws a little short 4 and 5 yards. He will not push his offense.
Second down and 6. Opening drive of the game for Minnesota. No score in the ball game. Out of the eye, the toss to Walker. Gets a good block from Gary Zimmerman and comes down to the 33-yard line. Chet Brooks with the tackle, but Zimmerman a terrific block to give Walker time to get around the corner.
You can't get outside. You can't seal off the inside. And Zimmerman, the left tackle, notice how he gets out, gets his hands up inside the framework of Turner. Now gets position, holds him to the inside. If you seal off the inside, then that allows the back to go to the outside. The only problem I see with throwing the ball to Walker like that, even if you're running the football, you can't do play action off of a toss, so it's very difficult to do play action. If Walker's successful running with tosses, that really eliminates all play action.
Well, the Vikings get the first down. Zimmerman's block and Walker's run. Walker with 17 yards now, had that explosive start against Green Bay after the trade, and he has his results have diminished each week. Look at weeks 13 through 16, an average of 38 yards per game on 13 carries. Well, he's off to a good start today. Play fake, Wilson. He'll run. Down to the 25-yard line.
Well, I think a lot of people expected the Vikings to come in here and go ahead and play this game, but the 49ers are going to go ahead and win it. Everyone pretty much had conceded this game to the 49ers. But in talking to the Vikings, I told you, boy, these guys are really wired. I've never seen a team so up for a football game. They are today. This drive, man, is very important, doing a heck of a job.
Well, Jerry Burns was as tight as we have seen him. And this is the fourth game he was a violin string. Second down and 1. Leo Lewis is the motion man. Rick Finney, the fullback, to the 22-yard line. There's Jerry Burns, so superstitious that the last, 4 times they've come out here, they've come out early, and this they've lost. So he said, this time we're staying home and working in the cold.
Yeah, it drives his players crazy because if they win a game by doing something weird, they're going to continue doing it till it's broken. But you're right, Vern, the 4 times they've left Minneapolis to go out and go somewhere else to get ready for a playoff game. They've lost all those games. He said, the heck with that garbage. We're going to stay here and practice in the cold weather.
This drive began at the Minnesota 8-yard line. First down and 10. No score in the game. Walker, nothing. That's really the first time in this drive that the 49ers have stuffed Minnesota. And it's Charles Haley, number 94, who makes the tackle.
Haley will come in from his outside. He'll play standing up. He's actually an end, and he plays down. Notice how Haley down. 94 gets down in a 3-point stance and then penetrates to the inside. If you run off tackle, you can't allow penetration from anyone from the outside. If they get inside of the blocker, they knock the play down.
Almost 6 minutes gone in this drive. And a second down and 10. Hassan Jones starts in motion. Rick Finney. Whoa. That one's knocked backwards by Pete Kugler, the nose tackle.
Yeah, Pete Kugler just jumped right around the center that time. Loudermilk beat him to the gun. He actually knew the snap count. So if I were Wade Wilson, I would say, okay, hey, you know my snap count. That's great. I'd go back in the huddle and say, disregard this thing, disregard the audible. I'd go in a longer count, and I'd catch old Pete Kugler going offside.
Long drive by Minnesota. This will be the 13th play in this drive, and they've chewed up over 6 minutes. Alfred Anderson comes in now, and Wilson will go out of the shotgun on 3rd and 9. Into the flat, low, incomplete. It'll be 4th down, and Rich Carlos will come on.
That was the first blitz of any kind we've seen. Chet Brooks, 31, lined up to Wade Wilson's blind side to the left over the slot, and when the ball was snapped, he came off like a bullet. Wilson, since this, had his blitz control, threw it too low, but that's the first time we've seen the 49ers attempt any type of blitz.
Carlos, of course, signed a free agent contract. He was with Denver for years and years, and he has signed only a one-year contract with Minnesota. He's 31 of 39 this year. That is a club record. He's now 32 of 40.
Had the lead like last year at 3-0. Had the lead the year before 3-0. Important for the Vikings to get the early lead. They feel like if they have the lead, that gives them the advantage. Their confidence gets high, and they feel like they can win this game.
Here's Carlos to kick off. Short, right side, Spencer Tillman at the 12. And he breaks the tackle. Gets it out to the 28-yard line. And right after the game, or right after the field goal, Matt Millen, the former Raider who was picked up in the middle of the season, went over to the sideline. Looks like, Terry, he's got a back spasm.
Yeah, because I get back spasms. That's one of the exercises I do right there. You lay down and you flex your hips and pull your head up, but they're painful, and if you get a back spasm like that, it just ties up your whole body.
49ers' second possession. They got as far as the Minnesota 8 before Craig fumbled. Yards, 68 of it on Jerry Rice's run. Montana with about a 4-yard pass. And one of the officials was hit from the blind side during the touchdown run by Jerry Rice.
Well, while they attended to the officials, Vern, the key in this game that the Vikings wanted to do, they said they want to press the wide receivers, stay close on them, so that when they catch the short pass, we'll be right in position to make the tackle. Now you see Carl Lee is in a trailing position. Rice senses the blitz. He stops. Lee slides by him. There's no one near Rice. Now at the speed, he is gone.
17 touchdowns in the regular season on 82 catches. This 72 yards. Jerry Rice puts the 49ers on top.
And that was the first gamble that the Vikings have done today when they sent Joey Browner, the strong safety. He came on a safety blitz. Montana read it. Rice was going to the inside, stopped, made the catch. No one there to block him. No one there to tackle him.
The injured official is the field judge, Pat Mallett. He is being escorted to the sidelines. And in playoff games, there is an alternate assigned. Don Dorkowski is the alternate. So Dorkowski will take the spot of the field judge. Now Michael Kofer out of Barry Hilton's hold. A 72-yard run. Floyd Peters told us yesterday tackling is so important in this game. Floyd Peters, the defensive coordinator of Minnesota. Just like that, Floyd Peters' team has fallen behind. It's 7-3, 49ers. First quarter, a 72-yard pass and run, Montana to Jerry Rice, and most of it was run. That's typical of this 49er bunch. And there's the alternate official, Don Dorkowski. Word from the field is that Pat Mallett, the field judge, separated a left shoulder and will be out for the remainder of the day. There's Pat Mallett on the sideline, hit from the blind side as he was the trailing official on the touchdown run. Now Koper will kick off 7-3, 4:58 to go, first quarter. And Herschel Walker, who has one touchdown return for, or one kickoff return for a touchdown this year, is back at the 2-yard line. That 93-yard kickoff return came against Philadelphia. Walker from the 7. Down at the 24. And Wesley Walls puts the stop to Walker after a 17-yard kickoff return. Let's look once again at this combination, Montana to Jerry Rice.
Well, coming into this game, the Vikings said we have to play their receivers tight. We have to be on top of them, keep our hand on them, because they make short catches, and then if you're not close to them, they have the ability to run away from you, make a move, and break tackles, and then they go all the way. That was a 4-yard pass. That time you saw Crowley, he was not anywhere near Rice. Easy touchdown.
And Deuce Bobick also missed the tackle. It's first down and 10. Look at the formation now by Minnesota. That's Steve Jordan. The toss goes to Walker with Finney in front. Walker breaks one tackle, but Chet Brooks comes up and makes sure he doesn't get any more yardage.
See, there's an old theory in football, Vern, that the worst place to run against a team that has 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers is wide. Normally, you want to run at the 2 inside linebackers. You want to go up the middle. But right now, what the Vikings are doing is every time that the 49ers get down with Charles Haley and make 4 down linemen, now they're pitching it wide to Walker.
Second down. Back split. Jim Burt now in a nose tackle, number 64. The former Giant into the flat for Walker. He's got a little bit of room. And that's a first down, Minnesota at the 36-yard line. Darrell Pollard, number 26, makes the tackle. Let's bring you up to date on what we've had happen here. Rich Carlos tagged a 7-minute drive with a 38-yard field goal to put Minnesota up on top. And then right after the kickoff, a 72-yard pass and run, Montana to Jerry Rice. Made it a 7-3 game, and that's where we are right now.
Yeah, what little momentum the Vikings had with their great opening drive was answered and kind of taken away from them by the touchdown pass to Rice from Montana.
Double tight end set now on first and 10. 3:20 to go, first quarter. Novoselsky in motion. Wilson looks for the screen pass. Rick Finney. And he is jolted out of bounds, and guess who? Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie Lott, all-pro at left corner, was moved to safety primarily because at cornerback he committed. He was so aggressive that he caused a lot of touchdown passes. By putting him at safety now, he can read. Top left of your screen, 42, is Ronnie Lott. They put him at safety. Now he has a chance to be involved in all the passing plays because he reads the quarterback and goes with his eyes. Coming up from free safety, you see the great aggressive attitude that Lott has.
Second down and 4. That's Hassan Jones in motion. Walker again, getting a ton of work here early. And that's short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 1. As Matt Millen back in the lineup, number 54. He's always been one of your favorites, hasn't he? Millen.
Well, it's amazing. You know, Matt Millen, when he was with the Raiders, was predominantly an all-pro player. And even last year, he made the Pro Bowl and then was released by the Oakland Raiders. The LA Raiders, and then picked up by the 49ers.
3rd and 1, 7-3 49ers lead. Final 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the first quarter. Walker. That's going to be very close. Loudermilk blocking. Todd Kalis and Randall McDaniel, the second-year guards. George Seifert looks on. And they'll bring the chain out.
You know, Vern, it's funny, but the heart and soul of the Vikings offensively has always been their passing attack. But when Walker came in, he kind of disrupted that because so much effort was put into the running game trying to bring the running back to the Vikings, when in effect, the best thing they do is throw the football. This is short, I believe.
4th down from the 46, and Jerry Burns won't play around. He's going to send the punting unit on. And that gets a roar out of this 49er sellout crowd in San Francisco. John Taylor goes back, and Bucky Scribner is on to punt, the left-footed punter. Taylor, 5th in the National Football League, a long return of 67 yards. Scribner with a modest average of just under 40 yards per punt this year. terribly long. Fair catch. Taylor at the 25-yard line. A 30-yard punt. Taylor with a fair catch. 49ers have a lead of 7-3 and the football. Mike Holmgren in the picture. He is the offensive coordinator of the 49ers. He calls all the plays, and he and the defensive coordinator, Bill McPherson, both spend their time in the press box upstairs. Holmgren will call the plays and relay them to the coach, George Seifert, who then
relays them to
Steve Young, who then flashes them into Joe Montana. Somewhere the system sometimes might break down. It doesn't very often, though. That's Wesley Walls in motion. Three-step drop again, slant pattern, and the catch made. Carl Lee with a tackle of Jerry Rice. A gain of 12.
That was a quick slant, but notice how tight this time Carl Lee was on Rice. I mean, he was extremely close. That was just a great throw. Montana kept the ball low, and then Rice made the grab. Look at Lee. Squares up on him, and now the drive, but now notice how he gets right on top of Jerry Rice. First, fine, go ahead, catch it. I don't mind that. I'm going to tackle it.
First down and 10, 7-3. San Francisco leads it. Roger Craig. That's a good block from Bubba Paris on Dolman, and he's got some room. Bubba Paris got a big block on Chris Dolman. And Roger Craig got a huge run of 30 yards.
Well, I'm going to say it again. If you're going to run to the outside, if you run to the weak side, you run to the tackle side, then you have to have that tackle sealed down to the inside. Bubba Paris, number 77, notice he gets his hands up and then fights and pushes and finally stalemates that time Dolman, allowing just enough for Craig to get out wide.
That was from a reverse angle, of course. It's first down and 10. Craig in motion. Three-step drop again. Montana. Rathman, who caught 73 in the regular season, goes down near the ankles and makes a fine grab of Montana's pass.
Down inside. If Montana has to pull the football down, that's going to give the defensive line enough time to get to Montana, but it's going to put a lot of pressure on his offensive line. But look at Colley, look at Zapo, look how hard they're fighting to keep those guys out of there, allowing Montana enough time to throw the ball.
End of one, and his team in quest of its fourth Super Bowl in the decade has a lead of 7-3. Back at Minnesota Vikings, a 7-3 count right now. 72-yard touchdown pass, Montana to Jerry Rice, after Rich Carlos had kicked a 38-yard field goal. And now the 49ers have a second down and 7 at the Minnesota 30, following Roger Craig's 30-yard run. Montana 5 for 5 for 102 yards. Hand off Rathman. And the big fullback bangs down to the 26-yard line where Chris Dolman makes the tackle. Substitution in the offensive line now. Steve Wallace has replaced Bubba Paris at left tackle. They do this by quarter, and he's going against Dolman, Terry.
Now Wallace down inside. They'll swap off. Paris and Wallace are going to swap off all day, blocking Chris Dolman. One of the things they said, that Paris said, he said, we're going to go after Dolman. We're going to attack him. We're going to wear him out, beat him up. And then when he gets tired, I'm going to raise my hand, and I'm going to bring in Wallace, and he's going to finish him off.
Brand new player just activated in the lineup for the 49ers now. Mike Sherrard, number 88, who was just activated yesterday. Last played in a regular season game December 21st, 1986. 2 broken legs, but time has been called.
I know they're beautiful, but think how much Dad would love these. Honey, they're just too much.
Rookie season, then broke his leg the following summer. Re-broke it a year later, so he has not played now in nearly more than 3 years. Signed as a Plan B acquisition off the Cowboy roster and has been working out. Now, Terry, we were told if he's in the lineup, they've got plays designed for him.
Mike Hogan, the offensive coordinator for the 49ers, has 5 plays for Mike Sherrod. And the key, he said, is looking at Montana and convincing Joe, look, he's going to be open. Throw it to him. We've got to see whether or not this guy can catch. But Sherrod should be out. He should be by himself, and he will be the key man.
That's exactly what they do. They line him up way wide right. Rice and Taylor are split to the left. There's the pass in the flat. Keith Henderson, as Sherrod went deep and opened the way for Henderson to make the grab, a gain of 15. Joey Browner makes the tackle.
Pressure from the outside on your right. As you see Henderson in motion, he'll go out in the flat. Sherrod will come in behind him. It's almost a built-in pick. Notice Sherrod at top. He brings his man inside. Browner has his man for man, gets in a trail position. Good job by Montana.
Third-round draft choice makes the catch. Rice to the right, Taylor to the left. Brent Jones in motion. Craig coming left. Scott Studwell forces him inside. After Wallace had put a pretty good block on Chris Dolman. 49ers with a number one offense. You might expect them to be more than adequate inside the 20, and particularly in the last 8 games.
Yeah, you can look at the touchdowns. It's amazing, but a number one offense, you would expect to be able to move the ball inside the 20. Montana said we push the ball in the end zone when we're inside the 20.
Second and goal, 7-3, 49. Brent Jones, and it looked for all the world like Joe Montana to Dwight Clark in 1982.
Just too much time. Brent Jones down inside on a crossing route. Montana gets pressure. Look at Jones look for him. He's actually looking for Montana to pop him with the ball. Now Montana getting outside, looks once, looks twice, and then picks up Jones again in the backside of the end zone, lays the ball in. An excellent throw by Montana. Beautiful route by Jones.
Brent Jones with an 8-yard touchdown reception. Koper with the extra point. On the day of the catch by Clark that beat the Dallas Cowboys, Brent Jones was at home in Santa Clara watching on television. And he was heartbroken. He was a big Cowboy fan. And now he's on the receiving end of an 8-yard toss from Joe Montana, and that gives the 49ers a 14-3 lead. San Francisco a 14-3 lead. Was a baseball player in high school, turned down a baseball scholarship to Southern California to go to Santa Clara, where he could play both sports. Here's Michael Kofer to kick off. Alfred Anderson at the goal line. Herschel Walker, beg your pardon. Johnny Jackson with the tackle. Watch this reverse angle now of Brent Jones' catch.
Notice Jones on the left of your screen, 84. He releases inside and turns his head to Montana to see if Joe's going to pop him with a ball. He does not, so then Jones turns around, escape receiver, and gets a touchdown pass for his efforts.
Boy, it was eerie. You might have replaced Henry Thomas with Too Tall Jones, chasing Montana over there in the corner.
Same spike, too.
Yep. DJ Dozier in the lineup for the Vikings, who are now down 14-3. Wilson, slant pattern. Hassan Jones belted. The ball was down by contact, so there is no fumble. And Chet Brooks with another big hit.
Pollard coming into this game said, I have to work on my technique. I have to work on my feet, my positioning. Very important. Notice how he sneaks up. That's Pollard, the left corner. Gets up, gets square, and when he gets square like that, he got beat to the inside. He had that little hop, and while he had the hop, then Hassan Jones had to go. Automatically, Pollard was beaten. Good technique. It just didn't work.
Gain of 11. First down and 10. Vikings 14-3. They trail. DJ Dozier. Randall McDaniel tries to clear out the left side. And the stop is made by Larry Roberts, who's replaced Pierce Holt now for the second quarter at left defensive end. Minnesota, Terry said they needed an impressive opening drive. They got that, but their defense has fallen down twice now. A 72-yard touchdown pass to Jerry Rice, and then the drive highlighted by Roger
Yeah,
Craig's run.
it could be worse, Vern, if Craig hadn't a fumble on the opening drive.
Second down. Blitz. Wilson behind the intended receiver, Anthony Carter.
Now, one of the things Jerry Burns wants from Wade Wilson today, and he's concentration level. He wants him to be able to make the right decisions. He said the difference between my quarterbacks and Montana, he says that guy over there, Montana, he makes the right decisions. My guys sometimes do, sometimes don't. That time Wilson made a wrong decision. He had a man right in front of him to get the ball to. Would have been easily a first down, but instead threw the ball to the outside and it was incomplete.
3rd and 10, 3 wide receiver offense. Loudermilk over the ball, and they will not go from the spread. 4-man rush. Wilson almost picked off. Tim McKyer was in defensively. It'll be 4th down. McKyer, who was suspended for a couple of games early in the season. And the 49ers have held again.
You know, Vern, that was a crucial situation for the Vikings. Very important that they move the ball, control the ball, and score, because this 49er offense has not been slowed down, and if they score now, it's 21-3, and man, this thing could be over like real quick.
Scribner. Fair catch. Taylor at the 34. Montana has hit Brent Jones and Jerry Rice for touchdown passes. Burnsy's team trails 14-3. Candlestick Park in San Francisco, where the 49ers, with a 14-2 regular season record, best in the NFL, have jumped out to a 14-3 lead. Montana with 2 touchdown passes thus far. And Terry, that quick passing game has really stymied Minnesota's defense.
Well, the thing that Keith Millard told us, he said the teams that beat us with their passing attack are teams that have a 3-step drop. 1, 2, 3, boom, get rid of the football. And that's called rhythmic passing. That's what Montana does so well. And so far, the Vikings have not been able to put any pressure on Montana.
1st down and 10. Roger Craig goes right, slips a tackle. Darts out across the 45 with the 1st down. Carl Lee makes the stop.
Man, what a great job. Great job that time by Bruce Colley, the right guard, and Harris Barton, the right tackle. They just smothered the entire Viking defensive line, got them down inside, man, and allowed Craig plenty of room to the outside. This is Millard. Look what he's going through. There's Guy McIntyre, number 1. Get him. Steve Wallace is cutting his legs. McIntyre, a little help, a little punch. And then to the outside goes Roger Craig.
And Roger Craig with 61 yards on 6 carries here in the first half. That's Craig out of the backfield. Montana, 3-step drop, pumps and goes deep. Adjusted by Taylor, makes the catch. Reggie Rutland and Brad Edwards defending, but no hope.
Motion by Craig. Play action. McIntyre inside. Sapolo the center, giving time for Montana. Holding down the pocket inside. There's a pump by Montana, and then lays the ball up for Taylor. Taylor is a punt returner. He is used to going up and grabbing the football and then coming down. He is used to making these kind of catches. One thing the Vikings misunderstood, they said Taylor was not a leaper. Boy, did a heck of a job that time.
How good has Montana been so far? Perfect. Craig. And he gets out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
Man.
No running back has run for more than 100 yards against the Vikings all year.
Hey, when you have a big game like this, your great players seem to elevate their playing ability. They seem to all of a sudden get a little faster, make a greater catch, throw a perfect spiral. Roger Craig, all of a sudden, man, he's coming out and showing the speed to go to the outside that, for the most part, people have been questioning all year long whether or not he had lost his speed. Well, man, he looks like he's possessed, having a heck of a first half.
Final score, Cleveland over Buffalo, 34-30. They meet the winner of Denver-Pittsburgh. Roger Craig goes right. Montana with a lot of time in the middle, caught. Fumbled in the end zone. It's an incomplete pass. Incomplete pass picked up by Joey Browner after Rice seemingly had it.
One thing the safeties for the Vikings cannot afford to do, they must stay in the middle of the football field, because on every pass route, one of the 49er receivers will be running to the post. That time it's Rice running to the post. Travis Curtis, 49, the free safety. He gets late behind Rice. Rice dropped the ball, but if you don't protect the middle against these 49ers, someone will be running right by you down the middle.
Travis Curtis heads out. The prevent defense comes in. It's third down. And a 4 wide receiver set now. Sherrard is back in the lineup for the 49ers. 3rd and 6. Across the middle, first down. Keith Henderson makes his second grab of the ball game. Henry Thomas with the tackle.
Anytime you have safety blitzes, when you have a safety blitz, Browner will come in here. Here's the area that is vacated. Notice that area will be open. Darrell Fullington, 29, he's going deep. There's no way he can get over and stop this pass. Good job by Henderson. Beautiful read by Montana. You blitz, they know exactly where to go with the football.
1st and 10 at the 11. The 49ers already up 14-3.
Won't be a blitz this time.
Motion left side. Handoff to Craig. Hit behind the line and drop. And a flag comes down.
It looked like that time Millard may have jumped off sides. And one of the things Montana wanted to do, whoops, looks like holding. Well, go back to that point. One of the things that Montana wants to do against Millard.
Holding 62 offense. First down.
Do against Millard is that Millard is so quick when he sees the ball move. Montana said, I have to illustrate my cadence. I have to change it up. And the other thing, I'm going to bend my knees. And when I just flex my knees a little bit, he'll jump off sides.
Joe said last year in this playoff game, he got him off sides once by simply moving his left foot. And Millard is so cat quick, he came flying across the line. So something to look for if it becomes a critical factor in the game.
Well, I tell you, hey, that concentration, you wiggle your toes and they go flying off.
1st down and 10. 1st and 20, rather, at the 21. Blitz coming this time. Montana into the flat. Grant Jones. And Joey Browner makes the tackle.
When you have 4 down linemen, and 1 linebacker blitzes, that is a blitz control for this man right here. He sees him coming. He goes to the outside. And 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers, if any one of them come, it's a blitz. Notice everyone inside. Montana says, I'm going outside. The corners are way off. Get my man Brent Jones the ball. Let him get down and get me close to the end zone.
Officially 2nd down and 9 at the 10. Montana is 10 of 11. Left side, incomplete. Rice went to the post.
Good coverage. You know, one of the things, Montana, the reason motion offense works so well for Montana, he does not have a strong arm. And in this area, Vern, inside the 10-yard line into the end zone, you're very limited, and a quarterback must have a strong arm or a very complicated offense with lots of motion to cause people to make mistakes. And when you have a quarterback like Montana who makes great decisions, you make a mistake, then he gets you.
Interesting. Mike Holmgren said yesterday in a conversation with us, in this system, your quarterback has to be smart, he has to make great decisions, he has to show courage, and he has to have some physical skill. Well, obviously, Joe Montana has adequate supplies of everything. Here's Montana, pumps once, he'll run. Then throw, touchdown! Flag is down.
I believe they're going to catch Montana for going across the line of scrimmage. I believe he crossed it and then threw the football, Vern.
Line judge made the call. That's it, Terry. So bring up the touchdown.
Yeah, what happened to Joe was Joe took off running. He saw the hole in there. He took off running, and then all of a sudden...
An illegal pass, number 16 offense, loss of down, 4th down.
Then he saw his receiver come open, and he was caught in a catch-22. Do I run? Do I throw? He said, I'm going to throw it.
It was Jerry Rice who made the catch. Here's a reverse angle, Jerry.
There's the line of scrimmage. All the... There, his right leg's across. Oh, gee, his whole body's across. Well, anyway, it's a nice pass. It's a good effort by Joe. Unfortunately, it's going to be brought back, and 49ers are going to have to go for a field goal.
That is loss of down. So now Michael Koper, who led the league in points scored this year, will try a 32-yard field goal. Barry Hilton's hold, high snap. No good. Oh, no good. So the touchdown pass to Rice is negated, and then the field goal is missed, and the Vikings cling to hope.
Yeah.
8 minutes and 2 seconds remaining in the first half. It has been all San Francisco thus far.
A century of incredible change. Merrill Lynch believes it will culminate in a decade of extraordinary opportunity, and our insight can help.
Pictures of Candlestick Park in San Francisco coming from the Goodyear Blimp Columbia, based in Carson, California. The pilot is Charles Russell, and the home base for the Blimp, Downey, California. First down and 10, Vikings trailing rather. Play action pass. Wilson back. A lot of time, but great downfield coverage. Now goes deep and is picked off. Chet Brooks. Anthony Carter was one of the men deep.
Watch Carter. Just notice Carter's head moving, looking, finding out where the backs are, and now he's adjusting by going in behind the safeties. Hassan Jones coming back to the inside. Too much time, too long. Just should not have thrown that football at all.
28 on the return. The handoff, Roger Craig. That's a gain of 12 more, and Craig has 77 yards.
One of the major changes, Vern, this year in the blocking scheme of the 49ers has been the pulling of the guards and the trap blocking. Very much like the Steelers. They've gotten away from going wide as much and have now pulling their guards and trapping up the middle. That last time was a beautiful job of that.
And Minnesota is a team susceptible to traps.
Exactly, exactly.
First down and goal from the 9. Rathman. Travis Curtis up on top and Studwell down below.
Rathman, a running back that's ambidextrous, broke his right arm as a young man and now plays both halfback and fullback, can play either side and run right or left because of a broken right arm. He learned how to become left-handed, but he's such a threat. 73 receptions this year as a receiver from the fullback position, which is unheard of. And then you look at what Craig has done from the halfback with 50, and then the two wide receivers with 70 and 80. And, man, you're talking about 5 people. Who in the world do you double team?
Second down and goal from the 8. John Taylor.
This country music friend named Jerry Reed, and he wrote a song, and it was a #1 hit, and it's called When You're Hot, You're Hot. And I'm telling you right now, these guys are hot. Throw it, they catch it. Run outside, they catch it. Everything works. Man, when it's in the stars, it just happens. Beautiful job by Montana. Great effort by Taylor to catch the pass.
Gopher's kick, no good. So he has missed a field goal and an extra point, and that has been the only disappointment for the 49ers thus far.
Is this scary? Isn't this just a little bit eerie? You're watching this and you're seeing a machine. This offense is an absolute machine, and that guy is pulling it off today. It's just really, I'm amazed at it, and I'm impressed with it tremendously.
Joe Montana, 3 touchdowns. Look at it from the reverse angle.
Might get 7 today. Millard inside. There's the pull. That's a misread. Guard goes left. The tackles read that and go with him. That allows Montana the chance to get outside. He runs well on the run as well as anyone in the National Football League. In high school at Ringo in Pennsylvania, then at Notre Dame, he was an excellent running quarterback and learned how to throw on the run. But, boy, what a job by those guys.
Well, Taylor and Montana have hooked up for a touchdown toss to make it 20-3 here, and there's more coming up tomorrow. Back at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, the Los Angeles Rams, winners of the wild card last week in Philadelphia, take on the New York Giants.
Hey, when you're hot, you're hot. Those Rams were hot last week in Philadelphia. A lot of people expected the Eagles to win that game, but Jim Everett and Flipper Anderson and Ellard and those guys, Bell, they put on a show. They ought to be a heck of a game tomorrow.
Now a new wrinkle for the Minnesota Vikings. Anthony Carter is back to return the kickoff. This will be, if it is returned, only the second kickoff return of his career. It won't be. It's short. And it's taken by B.J. Dozier, who probably wishes Anthony Carter had taken it instead. Keith DeLong with the tackle. Well, these two teams are meeting for the third time in as many years here in Candlestick. 2 years ago, Minnesota exploded for 17 second quarter points, and they won that game. Last year, the 49ers got 14 in the second quarter and won that one. And today, San Francisco with 13 in quarter number 2.
Very important drive. I mean, obviously, this is an important drive, but it's imperative that Wade Wilson get this team down and score. This game's getting out of hand.
Walker and Finney in the backfield. Pressure. Charles Haley. And a player down for the Vikings.
I can't tell who that is, Vern, but that's Tim Irwin, the right tackle, number 76. Haley came around Irwin that time. Haley lined up as a defensive end, and there was no stunt. He just penetrated on his own. And this is over the center. This is Pete Kugler, number 67, the nose tackle. There's the game going on up the middle. Kugler to the outside, and now you see to the inside comes Haley. But I still can't see where Irwin got hurt.
Tim Irwin is up and walking off by himself now. 9-year tackle from Tennessee. Boy, that right tackle spot for the Vikings. How about Ron Yeri, Tim Irwin, Steve Riley? That's about the history of the Minnesota Vikings at right tackle.
This guy is one of the very best, and we've covered these Vikings a bunch, one of the funniest people I've ever had the pleasure of meeting.
Second down. Play fake. Wilson can run if he wants. Puts some moves on Darryl Pollard and gets it out to the 26-yard line. David Huffman has taken Tim Riley's spot at right tackle now. And Wilson running for the fourth time.
We saw Dick Butkus and I got into it a little bit at pre-game on NFL Today, and one of the things he was concerned about was the double team, the rotation to number 81, Carter's side, and that's exactly what happened that time. The safety coming over flat took away Carter. Carter eventually will beat that safety if he doesn't change his angle.
3rd and 7. 4-man rush by San Francisco, and they got him. Kevin Fagan.
Fagan, number 75, sitting right over the center. The closest path to the quarterback is straight up the middle. Notice that Loudermilk turns Fagan loose, turns him over to Randall McDaniel, who will be in the Pro Bowl. Randall McDaniel, Fagan just blows right by him.
Bucky Scribner will punt to John Taylor. At the 46. Out of bounds at the 49-yard line. 40-yard punt, 4 on the return. And this 49er machine is back on offense again. Bring you up to date, the opening drive, and it looked impressive as for Minnesota, they recovered a fumble at the 8-yard line. and drove to a field goal by Rich Carlos to make it 3-0. But then a couple of plays after the kickoff, Montana to Rice, 72 yards. Then in the second quarter, Montana to Jones to make it 14-3. And then Montana to Taylor. The extra point was missed, and we stand now with a 20-3 score. Roger Craig at the 50-yard line.
One of the things, once again, Vern, that the 49ers are trying to do is when the Vikings overload their tackles and flop them, they create a bubble backside, a weak side where only one defensive lineman is, and he's covered by a linebacker, and that, once again, is the area that Joe Montana is sending his running game.
One back in the backfield now on second down. And again, the short setup and the pass fired. There's a flag down. The catch is made by Rice. We might have holding. They will bring it back.
Holding 62 offense. Second down.
I believe this is McIntyre on Chris Dolman, and McIntyre said that Dolman is the Michael Jordan, or Wallace did anyway, the Michael Jordan of the National Football League. And McIntyre inside, double him. Now Wallace to the outside there. There's Wallace, the Michael Jordan of the National Football League, and that time he tackled Michael Jordan.
Chris Dolman, who led the league in sacks with 21 this year, had 4 in the final game against Cincinnati. That time the holding call was on Millard. Here's Henderson in motion out of the backfield. The handoff to Roger Craig. Pulling guard, and Craig scoots through near the 50-yard line. Last time a back ran for 100 yards or more against this Minnesota defense was Roger Craig in the playoff a year ago. He had an 80-yard run to get him 135 for the day.
You're going to see the counter here, Vern, and then watch the center. Safulu comes out. There's the move. Craig will get around, and then you'll just see everyone sealed down, and then the lead's blocked by the center that time. That's amazing that a center can snap the ball and then get out and lead a sweep.
Third down, 4 wide receiver set. Incomplete. Flags down. Michael Grimm was one of the defenders. We have a trio of yellow handkerchiefs in the area. There's Michael Grimm. Against the Vikings.
Pass interference. Number 44 defense. First down.
Just keep your eyes on Brim, 44 on the left of your screen. There's Rice. He's on Rice. There's the right hand. There's the jam. And then there's the right hand going out. And then, that's just a tackle. Hey, that's good. You're going to get a flag, get a good one, and that's a good one.
First down and 10 after the penalty. 20-3, closing in on halftime. Here's Rathman. Well, Floyd Peters said yesterday morning the premium was going to be on tackling for his defensive unit, and there was a missed tackle on that play. Peters was back home, 53 years of age, a one-time prison guard at San Quentin here in California when he was a student at San Francisco State.
You know, his name is being mentioned, Vern, around the NFL as possibly one of the men that will fill one of the vacancies either at Atlanta or at Phoenix. Another one is
Mike Holmgren.
Mike Holmgren, right.
Here's the stretch of the chain, first down.
It's a real critical drive now because what happens even at this level of football, the National Football League, players, when you beat them and beat them and beat them and beat them, eventually they're just going to quit. I mean, it's going to happen, and the way the 49ers right now are just knocking on this door, if this keeps up, eventually the heart is taken out of the Vikings.
First down and 10. Craig to the 22-yard line. Scott Studwell in the middle. There's Tim Irwin on the sideline. Injured. Offensive right tackle.
You know, we were talking a while ago about Wallace, and Wallace and Bubba Paris, and they're going to two-team Chris Doman all day long, and they call themselves tag team tackles. And Bubba, you're looking at Big Bubba. He said, I'm going to wear him down. I'm going to stomp on him. I'm going to take it one step past the whistle. And then when I get through beating on him and I'm tired, I'm raising my hand up, and Wallace will come in, and he'll beat on him some. When he gets tired, he'll raise his hand, and I'll come back in and finish him off.
Bubba Paris said yesterday, before this game is over, I want Chris Dolman to feel my mass. 2-minute warning. Terry Bradshaw here in San Francisco. It's been a 49er kind of first half. Roger Craig with 95 yards already on 11 carries. And as we said, no man has rushed for more than 100 against the Minnesota defense in 89 in the regular season. Second down and 4. 49ers lead it 20-3. That's Rathman out of the backfield. And dead ball foul. They'll bring the play back.
Dead ball.
False start, 66 offense. Second down.
That's Terry Tausch, who has replaced Bruce Colley at right guard in the second quarter. So far, Minnesota 55 yards rushing and 44 passing for a total of 99. And the 49ers have just been overwhelming thus far. 294 yards. This against the #1 defense in the National Football League. And that man hasn't had a bad first half. 11 of 13, 3 touchdowns. Play fake. Rathman. First down at the 12. Gain of 15.
It's called a naked bootleg. You're going to see Rathman go this way. Montana naked bootleg. Everyone goes down inside, and Montana comes out. Rathman sneaks up, and he's wide open out in the flat. There's the pull. There's inside. Crossbuck there it is. Oh, had him on the wrong side. Coming around from the backside. Still a good play, no matter how you draw it up. Good job.
First and 10, 49ers at the 13-yard line. They lead at 20-3, 1:15 to go in the half. Audible. Almost picked off. Travis Curtis was the closest Viking to it.
Montana sensing that time that there was single coverage on the outside, and when he knew he had single coverage on the outside, he knew the only guy that he had to concern himself with would be the safety in the middle, and the way to beat him was to get the ball quickly to Rice. Don't allow him to run farther, but get it to him quickly. Whew, almost a good play by the Vikings. Good play to knock it up, but almost an interception.
That makes it a second down from the 13-yard line. 20-3 with 1:08 to go. Taylor in motion. And again, no pressure. Touchdown, Rice. yards. It's a rout.
An understatement by Jerry Burns, it appears, when he says that Montana makes the right decisions. He hasn't made a wrong one yet. Notice this. First of all, plenty of time. Montana said, I'd like to have 4 seconds to throw the ball, but against these guys, I'm hoping to get it off in 3.5. Plenty of time. Beautiful job. Montana looks right. He turns around. Rice comes across the middle. Hey, the best route in the world is always a crossing route. Rice crosses. Montana finds him.
Jerry Rice, second touchdown today. Montana has thrown 4 on 13 of 16 for 210 yards. And it is 27-3. The 49ers, trying to tie the Pittsburgh Steelers of the 70s, as the only team to win 4 in a decade. And, of course, Joe Montana, Terry, with the chance to equal your record of being the only quarterback to lead a team to 4 Super Bowls.
Well, you know, a lot of people are saying if this and if that, but when you look at a great football team, eliminate the ifs. Don't put any doubts in there because great players play great in great games. This is a great game, a big game. Montana and the 49ers have just lifted their game up. Montana probably playing a very normal game by his standards, but today 4 touchdown passes, and then you look at what Rathman's doing, you look at their defense, and then you look at what Craig is doing, almost 100 yards. This is a great football team, and it's going to take something very special to beat these teams, and I don't see anything special out in this National Football League other than the 49ers.
We are 63 seconds away from a conversation with, from left to right, the backs of Mr. McDonough, Mr. Butkus, and Mr. Musburger. They'll be coming up with the NFL Today at halftime. Irv Cross will join them. 1:03 to go in the first half. And the 49ers will kick it off to Herschel Walker, who, by the way, is playing in his very first playoff game in the National Football League. Walker at the 6. Down at the 24-yard line.
Yeah, if there's one major, if you ask me a question, what is the one major difference in these two teams? I would say that the team in red believes, because they believe they're going to move the football, they believe they're going to score and win this game. On the other side, now you would have to say, I don't think the team in white really believes now that they got a chance. Boy, it's just all of a sudden setting in that nothing's going our way. Something really drastic's got to happen now for the Vikings. They've got to capture some type of momentum, and the only way you do it is you score touchdowns.
Well, they've got 58 seconds to try and get something on the board in the first half. Caught by Dozier. Tackled by Charles Haley. You and I both thought at the beginning of the ball game that the 49er offense and the Viking defense would counterbalance each other.
I really did. I thought it was a perfect matchup of a great defense, the best in the National Football League, against the best offense. Normally, great defenses beat great offenses. This team is not playing great defense today. They're not playing great defense. This offense is whipping them.
Second down, clock stopped in the out-of-bounds play. 50 seconds to go. Left side, that's caught. Romanowski makes the tackle of Hassan Jones at the 35-yard line.
You know, also, Vern, you got to put the ball in the hands of people that can get you in the end zone, and that guy that can do that is number 81. You got to get the ball in Anthony Carter's hands. Let him have it every time. Throw him down the middle. Send him to the corner. But you got to attempt to move the ball, stretch the safeties. Don't try to stretch the linebackers. Try to stretch the safeties and corners now, and you got to go deep. You can't piddle in, dinky now.
Vikings, of course, trying to go the length of the field nearly in the final 2 minutes or minute and 3. There's a stretch of the chain now to see if the first down was obtained, and it was, so it'll be first down Minnesota. But Minnesota has not been all that effective in the final 2 minutes of games through the 89 season. 8 times, no touchdowns so far. They do have 2 field goals, but they've been intercepted 3 times and had to punt once. They lost the ball on downs twice. Now, in contrast, in 8 possessions, the 49ers in 2 minutes have gone for 3 touchdowns, 3 field goals. So they've scored 6 of the 8 times they've had the ball. That's
really only one of those times in the punt. The other was a fumble and a missed field goal attempt.
Benny and Dozier in the backfield. Wilson off balance, almost picked off. Eric Wright, one of the veterans of this ball club.
As a quarterback, if you're going to hold a football a long time, you don't throw a short pass. If you hold it a long time, you throw a deep pass. And when you hold the ball 5 and 6 seconds and then attempt a 4-yard pass, you're defeating the purpose and you're playing right into the hands of the 49ers. If you hold it long, you got to throw it deep.
2nd and 10. Wilson with 73 yards. It is 27-3. 3-man rush by the 49ers. That pass, Johnny Jackson of the San Francisco 49ers, closest to it. Intended for Jim Gustafson.
Well, Jim's got his gloves on, because those gloves gives him confidence, but the ball's got to be a little higher. Actually, Wade threw that football, and it's a good thing he did go ahead and throw it to the ground, because it would have been intercepted.
Well, the gloves of Jim Gustafson, who got a chance as a walk-on for the Vikings, in part because his high school quarterback and roommate was Bud Grant's son.
That's bad. That's pretty good association right there.
Alfred Anderson with Chet Brooks chasing him, misses the tackle. And Anderson has a first down and kills the clock as he gets to the 45-yard line. 20 seconds to go. That's a gain of 12. And brings up a first down and 10. Full house on hand at Candlestick. Minnesota jumped on top, 3-0. But then the avalanche started, and 4 touchdown throws from Montana in the first half. Big Ben, Gustafson, and Hassan Jones back there. And it's incomplete at the 15-yard line. With 11 seconds to go.
The secret, the 49ers have worked on this. This is one of the plays they worked on, was the Hassan Jones Big Ben or Hail Mary. And the secret, they believe, is to take Pollard, 26, and put him over Hassan Jones. The theory behind the Vikings is to run 3 receivers down, have the 2 outside receivers pick, and then allow that time Hassan Jones to single up on a defensive back, go up, and make the grab. 49ers say, we're not going to let that happen. We're going to take Pollard, jam him at the line of scrimmage, and run with him man for man all the way down the field.
Let's see if Pollard can jam Hassan Jones now.
Ah, good jam. He did it, Vern.
Yes, he did. Held him up. And the pass is intercepted at the 16-yard line. Darryl Pollard came right up in the face of Hassan Jones and held him up. And Don Griffin gets the interception.
He did a heck of a job. The very thing that the extra week gave these 49ers was a way to figure out how to stop the Hail Mary, a play that they used against the Los Angeles Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals. And so they practiced and decided just take Pollard, put him on top of Jones, jam him at the line of scrimmage, and slow him down.
This will be the final play of an extraordinary first half for the San Francisco 49ers. Joe Montana, 4 touchdown passes. He hasn't been touched behind the line of scrimmage. That's the end of the first half with our score, San Francisco 27, the Minnesota Vikings 3. We'll kick it deep. Herschel Walker waits for the Minnesota Vikings. We may see Tommy Kramer to open this third quarter. Here's Walker to the 23-yard line. Now the flags are down at the point of the tackle, which was made by Steve Hendrickson. Tommy Kramer will open at quarterback after the penalty is marked off.
Face mask, number 86 on the kicking team. First down.
Tom Dooley must be from my part of the country, huh, Vern?
You recognized an accent? Tommy Kramer, the 34-year-old, 13-year veteran who lost his starting job to Wilson a year or so ago, has started several games this year in Wilson's injured absence. And Jerry Burns, trying to get something going, makes a change at quarterback. Kramer goes left, incomplete. Leo Lewis, the intended receiver. Both Wilson and Kramer, of course, have been in the at the controls in playoff games. Wilson 3-2 as a starter for the Vikings. Kramer 1-2. And Wilson has had the better of it in the playoff games he has started. But now Wade Wilson, out of Commerce, Texas, on the sideline as Jerry Burns tries to light a spark. 2nd and 10. Leo Lewis. Oh, boy, nearly actually decapitated, and a flag comes in. That may be a hit to the helmet. Chet Brooks is going to get most upset at this call. Personal foul, 49ers.
This is a quick slant, and Kramer took a short.
Personal foul, 31 on the defense. First down.
You're going to see the quick slant, and then Lewis cleared the linebacker. Tommy held the ball a little bit too long, and then finally got it back down the field to Lewis, too deep for a quick slant, which really brought Chet Brooks to safety in too tight, and really were very fortunate at that time, number one, that Leo Lewis caught the ball, and number two, that he wasn't injured.
Gain of 16, penalty of 15. It's first down at the 40-yard line. Backs are split. Benny out of the backfield. Kramer finds his tight end. Down at the 27-yard line, Steve Jordan. And Chet Brooks with the tackle. So a nice move now, nice open for the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, it's a movement offense. You're taking Kramer and you get him outside. You give him a little bit of time, Vern, and it's an option route by the tight end, Jordan. He can go down and read the coverage. If the coverage stays to the outside, then the tight end will turn and go to the inside. If the coverage stays to the inside, then Jordan just simply turns to the outside. That time he just simply turned around, saw the guy outside, hooked to the inside, and Kramer got him the ball.
From the 27. First and 10. Incomplete. Intended for Herschel Walker. And Larry Roberts putting pressure on Tommy Kramer.
Yeah, Larry Roberts, a man that takes one step. He gets Larry Roberts, number 91, gets 1 yard deeper than the rest of the 49er linemen. And the reason is he's playing a left defensive end, Vern, but he gets in a right-handed stance. And he has to gather himself up, so he gives himself that extra yard off the ball so that by the time he gets there, he's in the proper position. So he says, I know it's wrong, but I just can't change. I can't go to my left-handed stance.
Second and 10. Opening moments of quarter number 3 from San Francisco. Kramer comes right, settles short for Jordan, drops the ball when hit by Keena Turner. Actually dropped it right before Turner made the pop.
Hardest route in football to cover, and you heard me all year long say this, is crossing routes. And the reason is automatically the defensive back is in a trailing position when the receiver releases inside. If you go to man coverage, you're trailing. If you go to zone coverage, then the guy running the crossing route goes through the areas. He'll run by a linebacker, open up an area, by another linebacker. And they're very, very difficult to cover, crossing routes.
Third and 10. Fourth and 10. Charles Haley in Kramer's face. And Rich Carlos will come on, the barefoot kicker from Salem, Ohio.
Haley coming from the outside on a blitz. This is a screen that's set up, and there's no way that Kramer can come out of the play. Notice the tackle Irving disappearing the block. And now Kramer all of a sudden has Haley in his face. It's a screen. He has to get rid of it. Good job by Haley.
Rich Carlos, who was a walk-on at the University of Cincinnati, kicked only as a senior in high school and started kicking barefoot because he saw Tony Franklin of A&M do it on television. Said the reason he went barefoot, 44-yarder is good. And Carlos gets his second field goal of the day. Rich Carlos, 2 for 2, and the Vikings now trail 27-6. 13-14 to go in the third quarter of play. Payoff that barefoot right foot. Carlos, who, as we said, walked on at the University of Cincinnati, said he started kicking barefoot because his shoes were so bad. So when you're a walk-on at Cincinnati, you don't have good shoes. Spencer Tillman at the 28-yard line. That's a return of 11. Richie became a folk hero in the Denver area and then had problems. Interesting, he walked on with the Broncos as well, and he said he was one of 75 kickers who had a tryout with Denver. Here's an injured player down, Keith Henderson.
Keith Henderson.
And it's 1st and 10. Craig. Mercy. Roger Craig goes over 100 yards for the 2nd consecutive time in a playoff game against the Vikings.
Notice this area. No, this is the area I'm talking about. That's the bubble. There's Browner, the safety, but there's no one in here, and this is where Craig is taking the ball, counter-stepping, getting in, getting outside, but that's the area that the 49ers are attacking. It's the bubble. The end crashes down. Now Sapulu's outside. Man, it's just a good job.
1st and 10 after the 16-yard gain. Rathman belted. Henry Thomas, number 97, makes the tackle. Again, the injured player on the kickoff was Keith Henderson, the 3rd-round draft choice.
You know, I can't help, Vern, but look at Jesse Sapulu, and he's pulling outside, and he said one of the differences at playing center as opposed to guard, they called him this offseason and said, you're going to play center next year instead of guard, and he didn't want to, but he said one of the advantages is I was able to put on an extra 15 pounds because I don't have to pull and run as much. Well, today he's doing a lot of pulling.
2nd down. Craig behind Harris Barton's block, but then he's knocked down. It'll be 3rd and long.
Montana looking over, getting the play from Young, and Young getting the play from Siebert, and Young, and we talked to Holmgren. He was telling us that a lot of times Siebert will take the play and give it to Young, and it'll be the wrong formation or the wrong play. And Young will say, Coach, just a second, you really mean this, don't you? And he said, oh, that's right, that's right. And so Young, it's a good thing that Young is an experienced quarterback, knows this offense, because he can clear up the mistakes by the head coach.
3rd and 9. Dolman coming from the outside, Montana to Rathman. And it's another 49er 1st down. 73 catches in the regular season for the fullback from Nebraska. And when he was at Nebraska, Terry, he had 5 catches in 4 years.
That's right. It's amazing, but most of his catches are when he is the 3rd or 4th receiver. Montana goes through the field, goes 1, 2, 3, pressure. Where's Rathman? Bingo, just gets him the football. So most of the time, his reception comes when Montana has nowhere else to go, and all Rathman is a relief valve, someone to help him out of trouble.
Rathman, who said in 1988 he didn't drop a single pass, not once. Flagler to the 40-yard line.
Let me tell you how complicated this 49er offense is.
All right.
Montana, talking to him, he told us that there are 100 passing plays that we have getting ready for this football game. Young will send the plays in. There's Holmgren, the offensive coordinator. He will send the play in. All of Young will do is give Joe the play. And now Montana has 3 formations for every passing play, and he has to look at his personnel to call the proper formation.
Well, he's done it pretty well today.
I would say he has.
4 touchdowns in the 1st half. He's being chased this time and throws it in the direction of Tom Rathman, so it is not intentional grounding. Tom Dooley, the referee. There's Al Noga, who put the pressure on Joe Montana, and Joe can't.
Yeah, when you're leading 27-6, you can smile a little bit. But Montana had the kind of an eerie kind of way about him this week. He was laughing and cutting up and giggling and kind of just really didn't know what to think about it. And I think a lot of that was just to take the pressure off. You know, people put so much pressure on him because of his heroics in the second half, the second 2 minutes thing. And he says, I don't really like those situations. I don't like them at all. There's too much pressure on me. Yet it responds beautifully.
Mike Sherrard back in the lineup again on 3rd and 7. Outside rush. Montana goes deep for Rice, who adjusts. It's overthrown. It'll be 4th down. And something went wrong for the first time today.
Pressure, that's what went wrong. You're right back to what the Vikings wanted to do. They wanted to force Montana to pull the ball down after looking at his 3rd receiver. If he did that, that would allow the pass rush to get to him. Took too long. Montana finally had to throw the ball away.
This will be Barry Hilton's first punt today. And Leo Lewis waits at the 10-yard line.
Nice, beautiful.
That's a dandy. That is a dandy. Nine-yard line. Timeout.
Barry Helton, the punter for the 49ers, and he is a right-footed kicker. And you would think that if he was going to kick the ball out of bounds or angle at the goal line, that he would do it by going to the right. But right-footed kickers always turn and kick to the left. And the reason is, if they miss it, it still goes out of bounds to the left. If they try to do it to the right, chances are they will shank it.
I learn something from you every week.
Yeah, I was a punting fool, wasn't I?
First and 10, Kramer almost hit Steve Jordan, but Jordan wasn't ready for it. And again, the Vikings start from deep in their own end of the field, this time at the 9-yard line. They've averaged starting from their own 19. Look at the field position for the 49ers.
Well, I mean, that explains a lot. Games like this with great offense, and if you have great field position to go with it, it only compounds the problem. That was a slow screen that Chuck Kramer was trying to get off Vern, but the pressure by the 49ers was too quick. Totally disrupted the screen.
Second and 10. Bullet. First down at the 27-yard line to Steve Jordan, who has been the most active pass receiver today.
Well, the key is Jordan is getting off the line of scrimmage. That's number one. If you want to stop him, you have to slow him down by putting a linebacker over Jordan and then jam him at the line of scrimmage. But notice number 83, Jordan, notice he releases outside. There's no one over him, so he has a free rein. Now he goes down, he reads the coverage and just simply turns inside. Kramer reads it and gets him the football. But to stop Jordan, you have to put someone over him and jam him down at the line of scrimmage.
First and 10 from the 26-yard line. 9:18 to go, third quarter. Incomplete, intended for Leo Lewis this time. Vikings going without Herschel Walker on the sideline.
Well, they're throwing the football, and they're using their backs and tight ends to bring the plays in and out. I don't know why Herschel wouldn't be in the football game. We even heard that some said in the Vikings that Herschel wasn't a good receiver, and I found that rather hard to believe after what he did with the Dallas Cowboys.
He is a terrific receiver. Second down and 10. Alfred Anderson, the only back. Kramer pulls up left, fires it for Anthony Carter, incomplete. Only got 1 foot down. Anthony Carter, who conceivably could be playing his final game as a Viking. He is one of those who had contract problems with Mike Lynn, and his contract runs out at the end of the season, but he said yesterday, I'm going to give Minnesota the first shot to sign me. Chris Dolman, of course, also going to test the free agent waters for the Vikings, and Joey Browner, the other unhappy contractee, has 1 more year, option year.
Dolman was telling us, you know, he said they made their business decision by not signing me, and I'm making mine now. I'm going to go after the Bucks.
Third down, 3 wide receivers in. Picked away. Great play. Darryl Pollard. Here's a kid who is a testament to tenacity. Cut by this very same football team 5 separate times. Kept coming back, working out on his own, hoping for a shot as a special teamer, and then he replaced Tim McKyer as a starter this season and is now a part of that secondary.
That he studies coordinators, not necessarily the receivers. He studies coordinators to be able to pick up tendencies, and that will take him to the player that's catching the ball.
John Taylor grabs Bucky Scribner's 30-yard punt and returns it 4 yards. Darryl Pollard heads to the sideline for the 49ers. They hold on to a 27-6 lead. 49ers hold on and win. They will host The NFC Championship game next week, and of course tomorrow the Rams and the Giants on CBS in the other divisional playoff. Roger Craig heads out of the backfield. Montana with that three-step drop. John Taylor ran the slant pattern in front of Reggie Rutland. Steve Wallace, who has given way to Bubba Paris. They're the tag team tackles. What is this, Sheriff? What is this?
Well, it looks like a purse. That's what it looks like. But you think that guy? Look at that. You think that guy would carry a purse? I don't think so. It looks like it might be one of those electronic stimulators, Vern. I see a line coming out of it. That's a battery pack that has a stimulator. It looks like it might be going to the leg of Wallace.
Roger Craig, Tom Rathman, down to the 35-yard line. Bubba Paris working on Chris Dolman to lead the way.
Tackles normally against quick defensive ends don't make a great all-out effort. They normally set and kind of wait, but here's Bubba. Look at Bubba going down, and all 340 pounds of him, and he's cutting people down, going to their legs and making them go over him. Bubba's got a little kick in him, doesn't he? Got a little sprint in his get-up.
Second down and 5. Montana, why not? Oh, it's dropped. Incomplete. Roger Craig. Bubba Paris was upset with Chris Dolman. He thought that Dolman had slighted his abilities last year.
Well, there's the double team. You see Brent Jones, Vern, 84, and getting the first shot on Dolman, slowing him down so that Bubba can get that mass. I'm on him to feel my mass, and that's a bunch of mass right there. But yeah, he doesn't think that Dolman respects him, and he wants him to respect him. And Dolman told us, he looked right and said, hey, I think he's a great tackle. I respect him a lot. I just think he's going through one of those personal problems right now.
Keith Henderson back in the lineup, had a pinched nerve, but that's him in motion, number 30, on third down. Montana. That's a first down. Mike Wilson, number 85. And Bubba Paris got into a little bit of a confrontation.
There was a little game on the inside with Millard. Now Bubba sits down. No, he's setting up to the outside. There's the spin move by Dolman. And then well, there it is. Paris said, I'm going to take it. Whoa!
Whoa!
Whoa! A kick. And then Bubba just laid him out. Bubba said, I'm going to go one step past the whistle. Well, he did about 4 and did a little dance and then took the foot of Dolman right in the stomach.
And I believe there was a penalty on the play as well. No, there was a backfield and motion penalty. Well, the Paris-Dolman confrontation continues.
Yeah, it's getting good, too.
Third down and 10. 27-6. Montana. Reggie Rutland with terrific coverage on John Taylor. And it'll be fourth down.
You know, I want to give Bubba his due, but he's doing a whale of a job. He's slinging that mass all over Dolman, and right now the tag team tackles haven't really been necessary because his tag team partner, Steve Wallace, has got a little injury, and he's working it on the sideline, and so Bubba is having to do it all by himself. But he said, I'm going to wear him down for 3 quarters, and I'm going to knock him out in the fourth.
Steve Wallace with cramps in his right leg, and that was the reason for that stimulator you saw a moment ago. Here's Helton kicking to the left side again. And again, puts it out of bounds inside the 20. That one will be at the 17-yard line.
Yeah, you see that umpire gets behind the punter so he can line it up. He sees where it's going out and brings the other official inside, lines him up, says, there it is right there.
Made up my mind.
49ers up 27-6, and those pretty pictures being provided by the Goodyear Blimp Columbia from Carson, California, the pilot Charles Russell, and the home base is Downey, California. That blimp travels over 100,000 miles every year, covering major sporting events. First and 10, Tommy Kramer on in relief of Wade Wilson in the second half, and the Vikings operate from the 17. Wilson, wide Wide open tight end Steve Jordan out to the 43-yard line. And Ronnie Lott makes the tackle.
The difference between the Viking offense from the overall theory and the 49ers, Vern, is that the Viking offense, the first read is deep. The quarterbacks are taught to look deep and see if they can get the deep pass. That's number one, and then work backwards, whereas the 49er offense is taught to look short and then go deep as a last resort.
That's a gain of 27 yards, and it's Jordan's fifth catch of the game for 80 yards. Four-man rush, Romanowski coming from the outside. Alfred Anderson gets a nice roll block, and then a pretty good defensive play cuts him down at the 50-yard line.
Well, what they're trying to do is run screens. You run screens to slow down a pass rush, but the pass rush is forcing Kramer to come out to the side that they're trying to set the screen up, and that's bringing everybody over there with him, so when he does throw it, they're only getting 2 or 3 yards out of it.
That'll bring up a second down now. And again, Herschel Walker is in the lineup this time. Lewis goes to the left. Anthony Carter comes to the right. Second down and 3. Kramer is 5 of 13 in this quarter. Carter, first down at the 40. Fumble. 49er football. Ronnie Lott, the all-pro free safety, recovers the fumble of Anthony Carter.
Look at the eyes of Lott. A free safety has the freedom to do whatever he wants to. The key to look inside to read the quarterback, and Lott has that freedom. He comes inside. He reads, number one, the 3-step drop of Kramer tells him it's a quick pass, so therefore he comes up tighter. That's number one. Then after Carter makes the hit or catch, then the ball is fumbled. He's right there to help out.
Apparently they're going to look at this on replay to see if that fumble did occur. There's Ronnie Lott, who is a senior at Southern California, shared the defensive backfield chores with Dennis Smith. They both became Pro Bowl players in the NFL.
After further review, the play will stand as called. First down.
Dennis Smith, of course, now plays for the 49ers, where he is a strong safety. He was a free safety and Lott the strong safety at Southern Cal. First down and 10. Roger Craig, Harris pulling. And Craig to the 45-yard line, where the tackle is made by Scott Studwell.
One of the things safeties do, Vern, is you always key into the backfield to see what the set of the backfield is. Now, when you look back, notice that here's Montana, there's the fullback, there's the halfback. The weak safety has cheated up because this is a weak set, and the threat to run is to that side. But watch what Montana does. He turns around and goes away from that.
Second down and 7. Third quarter, and let's see if Joe Montana bent his knees to draw Keith Millard offside.
Number 75 on the defense.
Remember we said in the first half, a year ago, Montana moved his left foot and got Millard offside. And that time,
he moved the toe. He said he was going to bend his knees. Does he bend his knees? He doesn't do anything. All he did was change the cadence. Instead of going on set, ready, hut, he went set, ready, hut, 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 and the hut got that time Millard, who is one of those guys so intent. One little move, anything out of the normal, and he's off the ball.
Second down and 2. Brett Jones in motion. Trap. And the tackle, Ken Clark, who is playing defensively now for the Vikings. Number 71 was part of it. He has replaced Henry Thomas. And they will bring out the chain to see if they got the first down.
One of the things we have not seen today is a play-action pass by Montana. And he said, I'm not going to do any play-action passes. Said, why aren't you? He said, these guys are too good at rushing the passer, and I don't want to turn my back on them. He said, if I did one, I'd do it so quick, I might as well just go ahead and drop back normally anyway. So today, you haven't seen, and you probably won't see, any play-action by Montana.
Well, it has been Joe Montana's brilliance coupled with an outstanding effort by the offensive line. Again, hate to be redundant, but this is a Viking team that had 71 sacks in the regular season. They have not touched Montana today. 0 sacks. Brent Jones across the middle on first down, and that time Montana did go down. Ray Berry with a tackle. Excuse me, Terry.
I'm sorry, Vern. That time he had Dolman lined up man for man. He had him by himself. Let me show you that. There's Bubba inside, and there's the spin move. One of the problems that a big man like Bubba Paris can't do is you see Montana get hit by Dolman. A big man can't fire off after a little guy that's quick. He has to sit and let the little guy come to him. Bubba went after Dolman, feeling his oats, and it cost him.
Second down and 5. Dolman adjusts his pass to the quarterback, and they run right by him. But the tackle made at the 41-yard line by Scott Studwell on Roger Craig. Craig over 100 yards, 117 to be precise.
Holman said coming into the training camp this year, the offensive coordinator for the 49ers, he said there were two things we had to do. Number one, we had to take pressure off of Rice, and we had to take pressure off of Roger Craig. So therefore, Rathman had to get involved in the passing game and the running game, and Taylor, who is in the Pro Bowl this year, the other wide receiver for the 49ers, he had to come on and become a vital part of our offense, which both of these guys have.
3rd and 2. Rathman. No. It'll be 4th down. Bubba Paris trying to lead the way, this time working against Keith Millard.
Well, he's had good success today against Dolman. Now coming down inside on Millard. He took the angle, but Millard is so quick. He read the blocking scheme. The lineman come down. Millard goes against it, gets outside, and helps make the tackle. Bubba wasn't going to eat. Said he's going to lose some weight. Going to lose about 8 pounds before the game. But yet the other day we asked him, where you going in such a hurry? He said, I got to go. I'm going to go get some chicken wings. So I thought you said you're going to lose some weight. He said, I got to go get me some chicken wings. Pleasant guy.
Very pleasant guy. 4th down. And the 49ers will go for it. Delay of game call, I think. As Hilton went up under center.
Why not?
And they exceeded the 45-second clock. David Huffman says we'll take the penalty. George Seifert.
Delay of game, offense, 4th down.
And Helton now will go into a regular punt formation. Seifert, who grew up in the Bay Area, of course, was Bill Walsh's defensive coordinator here. One-time college coach at Cornell. Graduated from Utah.
He looks like he would be a college coach at Cornell.
Mm-hmm.
Studious looking, elegant, kind of classy looking kind of guy.
Goes with the territory, huh? Leo Lewis back. 10-yard line. Out of bounds near the 16. 35-yard punt and 6 on the return. 27-6 with 1:38 to go, 3rd quarter. Looks like the 49ers are going to be home for the championship game next week, and their opponent will be determined tomorrow because the Rams go back east for the 3rd week in a row, this time to take on the New York Giants. Pat and John will be there. So will Brent, Irv, Will, Vic, the whole bunch. Begins tomorrow with the NFL Today at 12 o'clock Eastern Time, the Rams and the Giants.
Good weather, I understand. It's going to be about 40, limited wind, so good day for the Rams and Everett and his receivers, and of course, Phil Simms.
Inside give. DJ Dozier, number 42, makes the tackle. The other AFC divisional game that was played this afternoon, what a thrilling game that was, as Cleveland outlasted Buffalo 34-30. So the Browns will play the winner of tomorrow's Denver-Pittsburgh game in the AFC Championship game 1 week from now.
What do you think about that? Steelers and the Broncos.
I know that you think the Steelers have a chance.
Hey, I got one of those little sneaky suspicions that if Bubby can play and get the ball downfield, I gotta believe they can win that game.
2nd down and 5. Kramer slips and lets it go, and it's caught. Anthony Carter to the 35-yard line. Tackle made by Don Griffin.
Well, Dick Butkus and I had it out a little bit earlier, and he said they were going to double-team Carter, and Seifert said they were going to double-team Carter today, but now with a big lead, they're not double-teaming Carter, and the thing to do is just what Kramer did, send Carter down, bring him across the middle, because with this big lead, all the 49ers are doing is dropping their linebackers back and playing those simple zones and open up some huge holes for Carter to work and catch the ball.
Vikings need to do something quickly. They need 3 touchdowns to tie. B.J. Dozier to the 40-yard line. And that should be the final play of the third quarter. Matt Millen and Michael Walter were there to make the tackle. That's the end of the third quarter with our score, the 49ers 27, the Minnesota Vikings 6. We now pause for this word from your local station.
This is CBS.
Big Park in San Francisco, where the 49ers, in quest of their 4th Super Bowl championship, lead the Minnesota Vikings 27-6 in step number 1 on that path. Vern Lundquist, Terry Bradshaw. Minnesota with the second down at their own 41. Kramer pulls up and lobs it short, incomplete for Rick Finney. It'll be third down. Keith Millard, who is from nearby Pleasanton, California. Family still out here. Been a very disappointing day for Millard, Dolman, Thomas, Clark, Noga, that front 4 and 5 of the Minnesota Vikings, and for Herschel Walker. On the sideline on third down and 4. Jim Gustafson in motion. Comes the stunt. Romanowski hurries. Rick Finney caught behind the line and struggles for yardage, but does not quite get the first down. Nice effort. Kevin Fagan with the tackle.
Yeah, that was a great effort by Finney. Stopped, made the grab, but kept back, kept pushing with his legs, driving, trying to squeeze all he could get out of it and get close to the first down, and doggone near did it. Just an excellent job by him.
Vikings will go for it now, trailing by 21 with 14:20 to go. So 4th and 1, and Minnesota will go. Herschel Walker comes in.
I don't know why he hasn't been in. Anyway, the guy runs about a 9.200, a 4.240, and can break something anytime, so get your best in the football game.
Rick Finney, that's a first down, Minnesota, to the 46-yard line.
Out goes Walker again. Normally I can understand Walker going out if the Vikings do indeed play with one back, and that one back would be Finney or Alfred Anderson, who can block a little bit better than Walker can. But if you're going 2 back sets, or even with the speed that Walker has, use him as a flanker. A lot of times when you take a back out, Vern, and put him wide, the other team puts a strong safety on him to cover him man-to-man.
Saw that graphic on Herschel, 8 carries, most of those in the first quarter. Here's Kramer. Intercepted. Ronnie Lott. Touchdown.
Free safety allows Ronnie Lott to go anywhere he wants to go. Notice how he had cheated over, staring down Kramer's eyes. Kramer's eyes brought Lott right to the football, makes the break, interception, then takes it in for the touchdown.
58 yards as he stepped in front of Leo Lewis. 5 interceptions in the regular season. The career leader. He broke the record held by the great Jimmy Johnson earlier this season. And now Ronnie Lott from the reverse angle, 58 yards. They're this terrific player.
Notice Kramer standing, striding, looking to the right, and Lott in that free safety position just stares down Kramer. And from the free safety position, he takes that aggressiveness, follows the eyes, gets a break on the ball, intercepts it, goes 58 yards.
To test drive the new Accord, you have to drive it to believe it. Today's Duracell, the copper top battery. And by Miller High Life, buy that man a Miller. The best comes shining through.
49ers get a 58-yard touchdown return with the intercepted pass from Ronnie Lott. Mike Koper will kick off. Herschel Walker, the deep back. It is 34-6. Walker at the 14. Cut down at the 31-yard line. And a fight is broken out at the 25-yard line. Spencer Tillman, I think, was part of it.
Finney.
Rick Finney was the Viking participant, but they're quickly broken up. First down, Minnesota. 27-3 at halftime. Minnesota's worst playoff loss, 34-9 a year ago. Rich Gannon has come in at quarterback now. The seldom used third-year man from Delaware. Gannon, number 16. Kevin Fagan. Joey Browner. Scott Studwell, who said, yes, he will be back for another year at 35 years of age. 12:50 to go. Gannon hasn't thrown a pass since 1989. Here's his first. And it's complete, out to the 32. He's an interesting guy, Terry, because we keep hearing every summer, Rich Gannon has a load of potential. This is his third year, and he just hasn't had a chance to play.
Well, we've seen him warm up. You can tell a little bit about his physical ability. He throws the ball extremely well. He's a wrist passer, really snaps it, tight spiral, big, strong arm. And that potential thing, you can hear that all day long. And guy, all of a sudden, he's 32 years old and still got all this potential. But right now, Vikings are going to get an idea, a sense of what this young man can do under fire.
Alfred Anderson gets popped. Tim McKyer makes the tackle. It'll be fourth down. John Taylor goes back to return the punt as this crowd gives the defense a standing O. Bucky Scribner blocked. Mark Dusbovic picks it up for the Vikings, but it's going to go San Francisco's way. Terrence Flagler, I think, Terry.
Coming up the middle. Scribner, a left-footed kicker. Finney coming over. Notice 31 sliding over to the right. Sees that he's going to need help. Good thing that, Finney goes right by. I see what happened. He didn't see this guy coming up inside. Number 23.
Spencer Tillman.
Yeah, Tillman comes up inside, and then all of a sudden Henderson from the inside and behind him, he's the one that actually gets in Vern and blocks the punt.
Joe Montana still the quarterback. First down at the 20. Roger Craig goes left. Harris Barton, great block. The pulling tackle from the right side.
Now that's the old counter tray that the Redskins introduced to the National Football League, and everyone has their version. The 49er version is where Montana just simply turns his back to the line and hands off in the off guard and tackle pull and lead the way.
Joe Montana brings him up.
I'm surprised Joe Montana's still in the game. I don't really understand why with 34-6 he would still be in there.
He may be chasing some of your records.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
Montana, left side.
You don't think that's the case?
Well, let's just check the comparison now. Joe has a chance to go for his 4th Super Bowl this year. Playoff comparison. Let's see. You played 19 more games than he has.
All right.
He's got one less Super Bowl win.
Wait a minute. You're skipping stuff.
No. Get down there to the bottom. If he throws one more touchdown pass, he ties you with 30.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Ties me.
Yeah.
Yards are about the same, aren't they?
Yeah.
Completions, he's got me there.
Uh-huh. You're going to start figuring the statistical comparison.
Hey, it's getting to a point to even mention or compare me with Montana is an insult to him.
He's a pretty good quarterback.
He's doggone straight.
And so are you. Roger Craig. And, of course, the interesting thing, just to complete the story of Terry and Joe, but this is a class act on the field right now, Mr. Joe Montana. And one of his heroes when he was growing up was Terry Bradshaw. And I know that means a lot to you.
Well, it does. And people have asked me, well, Montana's going to tie your record and Montana's going to be. I said, that's great. If he wasn't such a good person, I'd still say that's great, but inside I wouldn't want him to do it. But I really don't mind. He is such a wonderful person in a class, such a class organization. But I really don't mind. You have to admire talent. You have to admire people that are as brilliant and are history makers like Montana and the 49ers. And, hey, my hat's off to them. They got a chance. Go do it.
Gopher's the only one of the 45 who's having a bad day. Poor Michael Koper has missed 2 field goals and an extra point, so it will not be a memorable afternoon for him, but it will be for Joe Montana.
Olympic hopeful and 6-time Honda Civic owner. Some people have all the fun. During Hurricane Hugo, when speed was critical, the Allstate team helped thousands of policyholders get a fast start on recovery.
All the debris that's piled back here is part of my house. This huge oak tree, about 6 feet in diameter, fell across our carport.
And
thank
hopefully
you
that'll
so
take care of it for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Allstate's been so good to me.
With 10 seconds to go, it's all tied up. Send in the secret weapon. Can it be? Yes, it is! A legendary Wild Willie Went! Wow, Willie Went. My brother, the greatest man to ever play the game. With Wild Willie, will they win the case of Miller Lite and go to the Super Bowl? Just give me the ball. The Wild Card Romping Rams, the Beasts of the East Giants. The NFC playoff battles continue tomorrow.
9:43 remaining in this divisional playoff, NFC divisional playoff. The Minnesota Vikings trailing the 49ers 34-6. Rich Gannon, the third quarterback used by Jerry Burns. Young man out of Delaware. As Wilson played the first half, it was 27-3 at halftime. Kramer the third quarter, and now Gannon gets his chance. Screen pass. DJ Dozier comes left, and he is knocked out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Bill Romanowski, number 53, makes the tackle. Romanowski, a firebrand out of Boston College, who was a third-round draft choice a year ago.
Coming in with Rick Ellison being down and
Jim Fonhorst is down.
Fonhorst down. They brought in Ellison. This guy, Romanowski's moved up, and boy, has been a real impact player at outside linebacker. And then Matt Millen coming to the inside really plays like a 4-3 linebacker. He's the run stopper, big guy, and forcing everything to Michael Walker. But Romanowski having a heck of a year.
Dozier squirts through for the first down at the 34-yard line. And Larry Roberts makes the tackle. 9:20 remaining in the ball game. 49ers at home next week against either the Rams or the Giants. Here's Gannon back. Out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Gain 1. Well, Mike Lynn, the general manager of the Minnesota Vikings, his team trailing now 34-6. It was Mike Lynn who engineered the acquisition of Herschel Walker at midseason with the Cowboys, and who said at that point, if we don't go to the Super Bowl, you can call this a bad trade. So the pressure will mount, I'm sure, as this enigma that is the Minnesota Viking football team tries to find solutions for the puzzle. Walker stays on the sideline. Picked off. This will be 6 more. Tim McIyer. No, it won't. No, it won't. He pulled a muscle.
Well, he has a groin, Vern. He had a groin injury coming into this game. It kept him out. He, along with Eric Wright, both have had groin problems, and McIyer kept out of this football game, but said he was ready to play, and once again, it looks as though he re-injured the groin. If you're going to throw deep sideline routes, you got to unload it a little bit quicker. This kid has a strong arm, but the ball's got to be thrown out a little bit quicker, and then bring Lewis back. Don't throw it at the receiver. When you throw it across the field, you must bring the receivers back, but Cannon will learn this is a good lesson for him as the groin goes out on McIyer, and he falls down to the ground.
Tim McIyer missed the last 2 games with that injured groin muscle, and it went out on him again. He limped to the sideline, but gets the interception. Joe Montana, that looked like, remember Troy Aikman of the Cowboys got into trouble when he was trying to signal a formation? Looked like Montana was doing the same thing, and now they do call timeout. So
I really would like to know why Joe's in there. I mean, really and truthfully, with 8:59 left, I believe I'd get him out and put Young in.
Records. For Steve Jordan and his Minnesota teammates, a terribly long afternoon. They trail 34-6 with 8:59 to go in the game. Joey Browner, defensive stalwart, is going to sit the rest of this one out. Tommy Kramer.
Mike Merriweather has an Achilles heel injury, acquired a trade with the Steelers. He sits this one out too, never did even suit up for it.
Roger Craig, touchdown!
You know, there has to be something that we don't know as to why Montana stayed in this football game and why the 49ers ran this ball in for a touchdown. I really, the way they're pointing fingers and laughing, you got a feeling something's going on that we don't know about. But I'm not upset that they scored, certainly. But to leave Joe in there, I think I would get him out of there. Anything can happen. What if the Vikings decide, hey, I had enough of this. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to unload on you. What the heck's going to happen to me? They go in and take one out on Joe Montana because they're frustrated. Get him out of there. He doesn't need to be in the football game. Get him out.
Lloyd Peters, the defensive coordinator, whose team has been dismantled today by Montana. And Michael Cofer gets the extra point.
Well, you're looking at Montana. It's going to break all those Super Bowl records and all those playoff records, but I just got to believe, Vern, as you look at the touchdown up inside by Craig, I just got to believe that maybe I got one thing he doesn't have. Maybe I got average per attempt. You know, maybe I have something in the record book that I'm going to be able to have over this guy. Maybe.
Average yards per attempt?
That's right. Joe's even laughing at me. Look, he's laughing at me. You heard me say it.
Well, I believe you do. Hey, there we are, in the playoffs.
Oh!
Look at this.
Oh, well, thank you, God, for saving something for me.
You got him.
I got him. Boy, you wait till I see him. You think I'm not going to brag?
Well, you were the first to lead a team to
Yeah,
score,
right. That's going to be real good when I'm 60 and first.
Montana and Rice, they got the first touchdown today, 72 yards. That gave San Francisco a 7-3 lead at the time.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Well, at least those guys do it here on the West Coast where it's warm.
I went to school with 4 of those guys.
Here's the kickoff. Leo Lewis is knocked out of bounds up near the 28-yard line. 41-6. It was 27-3 at the half. The 49ers at home next week against either the Rams or the Giants.
We were with these Vikings yesterday. Did you not have the impression that they were so wired up, so ready to play, and they were talking it? And I came away and I said, you know what? These guys are ready to play. I really find this hard to believe.
You and I were down on the field talking to Keith Millard an hour before the game, and I was more convinced then than ever that this was going to be a very close ball game. But it has been a complete rout. 8:49 remaining. Gannon, left side for Finney. He's knocked down at the 30-yard line. Daniel Stubbs, number 96. Minnesota in the hurry-up offense now. That pass caught by Anthony Carter. And he is down to the 39-yard line. See if the Vikings go without the huddle again. No, Carter's hurt. Anthony Carter is down.
Carter, 81 at the top of your screen, will go down and come up underneath Gustafson. Gustafson going deep. Finney out to pick for Carter. Good catch. Now let's see where he gets hurt. Looks like his leg slipped. Vern. I can't tell. There's 81. Let's see again.
This the reverse angle.
Down. Feet
Right there.
give away. Right there, the right leg. Holt coming in. Pierce Holt. Let's see if we can tell again. It's his right leg. It gets caught in behind him when Holt hits him, actually turns it and pins it in behind Carter as he goes down.
Anthony Carter continues to get treatment at the 37-yard line. Again, the 49ers will be at home next week against either the Rams or the Giants. And John Robinson's Rams take on Bill Parcells' Giants tomorrow. Begins with the NFL today at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. Brent McGang will be back for that, and then Pat and John will be along with the Rams-Giants game tomorrow. Anthony Carter helped to the sideline.
Now getting O.J. Anderson having a big year at the age 32. Over 1,000 yards rushing. Young team, the Giants, come back. Good defense. Outstanding quarterbacking. That'll be a heck of a game.
1st and 10, Minnesota. Gannon across the middle. And the tackle made at the 42-yard line by Chet Brooks on Herschel Walker.
You were talking earlier, Vern, about what a puzzle it is trying to figure out what's happened to the Vikings this year, especially offensively. And let's see what happens. Walker thought the ball was going down. Looks like.
Here's Gannon as they went quickly, and Jim Gustafson with a heck of a catch. Pass a little behind him, and a nice catch by Jim Gustafson, 22 yards.
Hey, where's he been all day? Got the gloves on, got the confidence, says he can run routes as good as anyone, works his zone as well as anyone by his own admittance.
1st down, 4-man rush. Gannon, deep right side. Incomplete. Intended for Leo Lewis.
Anyway, I was saying it's a puzzle about the Vikings. You know, with the injuries they had in training camp, the holdouts, and the offense never did get on track. Wade Wilson, an all-pro quarterback last year, but the offense never did come along to complement the defense. Never did. Even in the Cincinnati game where they had a great first half, they had a very average second half. But the consistency that it takes to win in the National Football League just never did make itself known on the offensive side of the Vikings this year. And who knows, maybe there'll be some changes. Maybe there'll be some quarterback changes.
Second down, twisted right knee for Anthony Carter. Don't know if he'll be back in the game. Gannon pulls up and finds a receiver at the 19-yard line. That'll be another first down as Steve Jordan makes his 7th grab of the day. And again, the hurry-up offense now. The clock shows 6:45 remaining. Wade Wilson played the first half and was benched. Tommy Kramer played the third quarter. Rich Gannon chased by Stubbs and goes out of bounds. Don Griffin there to make sure he goes out of bounds. Minnesota playing on the road for the 9th time in 1989, and they have not had a good record away from home. 2-6. That'll fall to 2-7 today. They were undefeated at home, the only team that could claim that record.
You know, that's another one of the things that I looked at in comparing these two teams was that the 49ers, the two games they lost them right here at Candlestick Park.
Right. Second down. 6:31 to go. Herschel Walker up the middle. Larry Roberts made the tackle. And again, the hurry-up offense. 6:12 to go in the ballgame. That pass caught it for 3. Leo Lewis in front of Darrell Pollard.
Good job by this young quarterback, although you got to consider the situation, but excellent job of moving around. He's shown the ability to run out of a pocket, scramble and throw on the run, and got a good strong arm, and got to be impressed a little bit. But once again, you have to also understand it's 41-6.
Yeah.
49ers just going to drop back there, and really no big hurry. They feel no threat here.
Of course, the last team to repeat as Super Bowl champions, Terry Bradshaw and the Steelers in 78 and 79. Can the 49ers do it in 88 and 89? It's interesting how end of the decade teams haven't been able to repeat. Baltimore did it in 58 and 59, and Philadelphia at the end of the 40s. The only team that did not repeat were at the end of the 60s. But the 49ers certainly making a strong bid today. Guy McIntyre with a huge grin, number 62. He blocked for Herschel Walker when they were teammates at the University of Georgia. And Bubba Paris, number 77, a good day today. He was a teammate of Anthony Carter's when they played at Michigan. So there are a lot of lingering relationships between these two teams that will outlast the ball game itself.
A very focused team, 49ers, very focused. You don't see anybody writing books, no one doing movies, not a lot of commercials, even though they won the Super Bowl, even by their star, Montana R. Rice. But the fact is, a very focused group that is very much believes in winning.
Rick Fenny, touchdown, Minnesota. So the fullback who grew up in Snohomish, Washington, and played for the University of Washington, gets the first touchdown for the Vikings today. And that makes it a 41-12 ball game with the extra point to come. Rich Carlos will try and tack on the extra points.
Well, he's going to have a string broken today, isn't he, Vern? Said he's played against these 49ers 3 times and has kicked the winning field goal in all 3 games, has never lost to the 49ers.
That, of course, was when he was with Denver. And you're right, that streak comes to an end. Coming up tonight on CBS, we begin with Paradise. That's followed by Tour of Duty. Then on Saturday night with Connie Chung. How much do you want to bet that some nuns who've never been to a football game know more about it than you do? Their story and more tonight on Saturday night with Connie Chung. And tomorrow, the Rams and the Giants, 12 noon Eastern Time, the NFL today. And then the ball game at 12:30. Herschel Walker
I don't think the Vikings really know how to use this man.
You think they'll change their offensive scheme?
If they stay a passing offense, no. I think, once again, the trade was a bad trade because Herschel needs to run the ball out of the eye. He's a kind of back who doesn't work well out of the split backs going from left to right. He's not a good back to run and cut. But if you put him in the eye and he gets deep enough, between the tackles and with the power, he sees things better. So that's why he is better suited out of the eye. But in the National Football League, passing teams do not get in the eye. That's not where you can protect best. That's not where you can do a lot of things. And so therefore it doesn't really work to Walker's favor in a passing attack. So maybe, who knows?
Carlos will try the onside kick. It's taken by Tom Rathman, he of the good hands. And Rathman is down at the 42-yard line.
Jerry Burns, I don't know. He says, I don't know.
He said that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong. I don't know who's going to play it. I don't know how this is going to work out.
Asked him, are you ready? He said, how do you ever know? And obviously they weren't. Then he said, well, when it's over, I'm going to go play golf in Jamaica. So it's going to happen a little earlier than he wanted. New quarterback in, Steve Young. As Joe Montana will get a rest with 4 touchdowns all in the first half. And look at Young. He had some pretty gaudy statistics himself in relief. And off to Flagler. And he's out to the 45-yard line. 5:35 to go. Al Noga makes the tackle. Still no sacks. This offensive line of the San Francisco 49ers up against a team that had obtained 71 sacks this year.
And this offensive line of the 49ers, albeit very versatile with pulling guards and tackles and able to do a lot of things, gave up 45 sacks this year, which is, it kind of lends you to believe that, these guys aren't the best pass blockers in the world, but today, man, they certainly elevated their status quite a bit.
Here's Sapolu playing at guard, pulling for Flagler, who comes around the right side to the 46. Jim Irwin, injured in the first half.
Sapolu back at the pull position.
And they got Chuck Thomas in at center now. Terry Tosh at right guard. Martin is still in there.
Yeah, there's a new setup there.
Thomas at center. Sapolu back at his old spot at guard. Of course, Sapolu took the place of our colleague, Randy Cross. Many times an All-Pro at that spot. There's Chuck Thomas. Jesse Sapolu, who said he likes being guard more than he does center because he feels more athletic at guard. Here's Flagler. Now listen. What did he mean by that? You were going to ask me, huh?
Exactly. Well, you made the statement.
Well, I think it probably, Terry, it has to do with the fact that as a guard, he gets to pull back and block. Using his athletic ability a little more than he does when he's in a stationary position at center. Does that make sense?
Hey, that works. It makes a lot of sense to me.
Second down and 5.
Tommy Kramer, the all-time gutty kind of guys. You ever heard of a guy that's a complete competitor? It's Kramer.
Ball at the 40-yard line, 3.5 to go. Joe Montana, 4 touchdowns today. That sweep didn't go anywhere.
No.
Millard made the tackle. Flagler.
Millard swapped over to the left tackle that time, and Sapolu trying to come out and cut it, but penetration by Millard into the backfield. This is what they wanted to accomplish early in the game, was to get penetration by the tackles. Even Millard said that today I may not even play tackle because he's got a separated left shoulder. I may go out and play in. I may do that today.
Well, that's one of the few good things that has happened defensively for this 49er team. I mean, the Vikings defensively. 2:45 to go in the ball game. 41-13. Third and a bunch. Mike Sherrard is in the lineup again. Young fires at a goal. Wesley Walls had it go in and out of his hands. And that stops the clock with 2.5 to go. 4th down.
Carl Lee standing over there, dejected.
Barry Helton on the punt. Lewis waits back at the 10-yard line. Lewis at the 13. Romanowski is down there to make the tackle at the 23-yard line. 41-13 with 2:23 to go, a 35-yard punt. Bring you up to date once again. Carlos, a 38-yard field goal. Minnesota led 3-0. But then it all began. 72 yards, Montana to Rice, 7-3. 8-yard pass to Brent Jones made it 14-3. John Taylor caught the next one to make it 20-3, and then to complete the first half scoring, Montana found Rice with his second touchdown pass, 27-3 at halftime, and it continued after Carlos got his second field goal to cut the margin to 27-6. Lott, 58-yard pass interception return for a touchdown, and then Craig, a 4-yard touchdown to make it 41-6. Rick Finney's TD made it 41-13, and that's where we stand right now. Here's Rich Gannon. Fires it to Finney, who runs into a teammate, and then is knocked down at the 22-yard line. And we've got the 2-minute warning coming up. Unless Minnesota can get one more play off, they will not. 2 minutes to go. The 49ers will be at home for the NFC Championship game next Sunday. California, piloted by Charles Russell, and the home base is Downey, California. Goodyear built his first blimp, 1925. 41-13 with 2 minutes remaining in the ball game. The 49ers dominating this football game in every possible way. They've gone over 400 yards of total offense, 403. Minnesota has 300 and some, but only 1 touchdown and 2 field goals. Gannon will operate out of the shotgun, 2nd down and 12. Gannon goes left, incomplete. And it's time for the family, Terry. Matt Millen.
Saw him in the Pro Bowl last year, and he had I believe Matt has 3 children with him, one youngster and a little girl, and saw him in the hotel. This guy is one of the toughest, honorish human beings I ever played with. And when he was in that silver and black, it was a very intimidating thing, but one of the nicest people, just out of that uniform, extremely nice.
I want to go back to that shot in just a second. Here's 3rd down because of the comparison with Matt and Jim Berg. Here's Gannon going left. Steve Jordan with the catch. And he's down at the 43-yard line. 1:45 to go, and the Vikings will go with a hurry-up. There's Matt Millen. And that shot reminded me of the shot of Jim Berg with his son after the Giants won. Well, now the two are teammates. Here's Millen from the Raiders, Jim Berg from the Giants, who was signed in November. And they both have a chance to get another Super Bowl ring, albeit this time on the same team. Gannon going back, running around, and finally tackled at the 34-yard line. 1:18 to go in the ball game. And time has been called now out on the field. See who called the time. Here's Tom Dilley.
There's no foul. The illegal chuck, the quarterback was out of the pocket.
Jim Burt, who's got a little more work to do. He's out on the field right now at nose tackle. He was the man about whom we were just speaking. Coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS is Charles H. Milton III. Our game today produced by David Michaels, directed by Andy Kindle. Associate producer Roy Hamilton. Our broadcast associates Peter Shakur and John Coleman'sberger. He's 2nd down. Here's Gannon back. That pass caught by Jim Gustafson. And he's down at the 43 with another 1st down. The NFL Today was produced by David Winter and directed by Kathy Barretto. The executive producer of CBS Sports is Ted Shaker. 40 seconds remaining in the ball game. 35 seconds now. 1st down Minnesota. And Rich Gannon Drops back and goes deep. Hit, incomplete at the goal line. 24 seconds to go. Leo Lewis, the intended receiver. I want to thank our crew up in the booth, too. Dave Yaggy on stats again. Spotters Joe Cash and Nancy Lundquist. And our replay coordinator down in the truck is Bobby Monsbach. Takes a heck of a bunch of folks to put on something like this, and it's been a joy to work with everybody. Jerry Burns, last game of the year. Boy, there's a finality to the playoffs, Terry, isn't it? When you guys didn't lose that many, but when you lose, it's just suddenly it's over.
Yeah, there's nothing left. There's no game next week there. Yeah, it's just cold turkey. This game here takes you right out of it. I think that's one of the things that Gannon, one of the things that Siebert was telling us, that this game is, when this game's over with, it's over. We don't have, if we get to next week, if we lose that one, at least we're coaching in the Pro Bowl. We got one more game to kind of get the loss out of our system. But he said the first game of the playoff is a game where you experience it just cold turkey. And he said, I'm as uptight and as nervous as I've ever been in my life. But he's in a new position. That's head coach.
There have been very few sports teams in America
69 offense, second down,
who have won back-to-back world championships under different coaches. And the 49ers have a chance to do that now. Bill Walsh, of course, the head coach last year, and George Siebert. I keep thinking back to when you and I first talked to him in the week 3 of the season. And he said, my charge this year is to keep this thing going, to not screw it up. I'd certainly say he's accomplished that.
I think he's done an excellent job. He's done an outstanding job.
Second down, 16 seconds remaining. Offside, 49ers. Leo Lewis, the pass is incomplete. 10 seconds to go.
Well, who do you like? Who do you like these 49ers? Who will give them the best game? Giants, Rams? Your opinion.
Just pick one?
Yeah, sure. Go out on a limb. Make a stand.
Rams.
Rams play them well. Rams know them well.
67 defense, second down.
Rams beat these 49ers here and then had them beat up in Anaheim and let them come back, and John Taylor took it away from them. I have to agree with you. I believe the Rams match up better with the 49ers than probably any team, primarily because they have the offense that's very much the equal of this 49er offense. It can really attack and strike, and that seems to be the one type of team that gives a team like the 49ers fits.
Could be the final play of the ball game. Gannon goes right, and the pass is caught by Steve Jordan, the tight end. That is his 9th catch today. It's over. Joe Montana with 4 touchdown passes in the first half. And for Jerry Burns, a bitter defeat. Second year in a row, the season has come to a close here at Candlestick for the Minnesota Vikings. And anticlimactically, I think they're going to put 2 seconds back on the clock. And that means they've got to clear it. This is kind of unnecessary.
Well, they ought to go ahead and just run the second
Timeout, Minnesota.
They've got to clear the entire field again from players, journalists, photographers. So they can run one more play. So now folks are scattering on the respective sidelines.
Well, you got a young quarterback.
He wants one more
You
chance.
can't blame him. He hasn't played. He's the guy with all the potential. He calls timeout. Gannon we're talking about, and he says, I'm going to put this baby in the end zone. I know I didn't mean to mess all of this up, but I'm going to get myself one more shot. So go get him, big guy.
This will be the final play. The alley-oop incomplete, and now it's official. Intended for Herschel Walker. The 49ers win it 41-13. David Huffman talking with Joe Montana.
Durant.
241 yards for Montana. Let's go to Randy Cross.
Joey, you played about as perfect a game in the playoffs as people have seen in a while. 17-24, 4 touchdowns. What made it work?
Well, I think the big key here is you got to give all the credit to the offensive line. You know, they had a lot of pressure on them coming in, and these guys have been getting a lot of sacks, and they just gave me the time to throw the ball, and that's the big key. When you can throw the ball, we got some guys that can catch it.
You've got 2 teams next week. You've both played them. Which one's the toughest for you, do you think?
Well, I think the toughest one is it's kind of hard to say. You know, both of them have played us tough. The Rams see us a lot more, and, you know, they've given us a couple good games, and, you know, the Giants are ready for a little bit of revenge, too, from the last time we played. So both of them are going to be a good challenge for us.
All right, thanks, Joe.
All right, thanks.
Back to you, Vern.
All right, Randy. I bet Joe didn't recognize Randy Cross standing up. Our final score, 41-13. Coming up next, the NFL